Dinner time, Deuteronomy 13. When there arises among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and he shall give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder shall come true, of which he has spoken to you, saying, Let us go after other mighty ones, which you have not known, and serve them. Do not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahovah your Elohim is trying you to know whether you love Yahovah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being. Walk after Yahovah your Elohim and fear him, and guard his commands and obey his voice, and serve him and cling to him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams is put to death, because he has spoken apostasy against Yahovah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, and ransomed you from the house of bondage, to make you stray from the way in which Yahovah your Elohim commanded you to walk. Thus you shall purge the evil from your midst. When your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend who is as your own being entices you secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones, which you have not known, neither you nor your fathers, of the mighty ones of the people which are all around you, near to you or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. Do not agree with him or listen to him, nor shall your eye pardon him, nor spare him or conceal him, but you shall certainly kill him. Your hand is first against him to put him to death, and afterward the hand of all the people. And you shall stone him with stones until he dies, because he sought to entice you away from Yahovah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, from the house of bondage. And let all Yisrael hear and fear, and not again do any such evil matter as this in your midst. When you hear someone in one of your cities, which Yahovah your Elohim gives you to dwell in, saying, Some men, sons of Belial, have gone out of your midst and led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, Let us go and serve other mighty ones whom you have not known. Then you shall inquire, search out, and ask diligently, and see if the matter is true and established that this abomination was done in your midst. You shall certainly strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, putting it under the ban, and all that is in it and its livestock with the edge of the sword, and gather all its plunder into the middle of the streets, and completely burn with fire the city and all its plunder, before Yahovah your Elohim, and it shall be a heap forever, never to be built again. And none of that which is put under the ban is to cling to your hand, so that Yahovah turns from the fierceness of his displeasure, and shall show you compassion, love you, and increase you, as he swore to your fathers, when you obey the voice of Yahovah your Elohim, to guard all his commands which I command you today, to do what is right in the eyes of Yahovah your Elohim. You are the children of Yahovah your Elohim. Do not cut yourselves, nor shave the front of your head for the dead, for you are a set-apart people to Yahovah your Elohim, and Yahovah has chosen you to be a people for himself, a treasured possession above all the people who are on the face of the earth. Do not eat whatever is abominable. These are the living creatures which you do eat: ox, sheep, and goat, deer and gazelle, and roebuck, and wild goat, and mountain goat, and antelope, and mountain sheep, and every beast that has a split hoof divided in two, chewing the cud among the beasts you do eat. But of those chewing the cud of those having a split hoof completely divided, you do not eat, such as these, the camel, and the hare and the rabbit, for they chew the cud, but they do not have a split hoof. They are unclean for you. And the pig is unclean for you, because it has a split hoof, but does not chew the cud. You do not eat their flesh, or touch their dead carcasses. These you do eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales you do eat. And whatever does not have fins and scales you do not eat. It is unclean for you. Any clean bird you do eat, but these you do not eat: the eagle, the vulture, and the black vulture, the red kite, and the falcon, and the buzzard, and after their kinds, and every raven after its kind, and the ostrich, and the nighthawk, and the seagull, and the hawk after their kind, and the little owl, and the gray owl, and the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the fisher owl, and the stork, and the heron after its kind, and the hoopoe, and the bat, and every creeping insect that flies is unclean for you. They are not eaten. Any clean bird you do eat. Do not eat whatever dies of itself. Give it to the stranger who is within your gates to eat it, or sell it to a foreigner. For you are a set-apart people to Jehovah your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. You shall tithe without fail all the yield of your grain that the field brings forth year by year. And you shall eat before Jehovah your Elohim in the place where he chooses to make his name dwell, the tithe of your grain and your new wine and your oil, and of the firstlings of your herds and your sheep, so that you learn to fear Jehovah your Elohim always. But when the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to bring the tithe, or when the place where Jehovah your Elohim chooses to put his name is too far from you, when Jehovah your Elohim is blessing you, then you shall give it in silver, and shall take the silver in your hand, and go to the place which Jehovah your Elohim chooses. And you shall use the silver for whatever your being desires, for cattle or sheep, for wine or strong drink, for whatever your being desires. And you shall eat there before Jehovah your Elohim, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. And do not forsake the Levite who is within your gates, for he has no part nor inheritance with you. At the end of every 3rd year, you bring out all the tithe of your increase of that year and store it up within your gates. And the Levite, because he has no portion nor inheritance with you, and the sojourner, and the fatherless, and the widow, who are within your gates, shall come and eat and be satisfied, so that Jehovah your Elohim does bless you in all the work of your hands which you do. At the end of every 7 years you make a release of debts. And this is the word of the release. Every creditor is to release what he has loaned to his neighbor. He does not require it of his neighbor or his brother, because it is called the release of Jehovah. Of a foreigner you could require it, but your hand is to release whatever is owed by your brother. Only there should be no poor among you, for Jehovah does greatly bless you in the land which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you to possess as an inheritance. Only if you diligently obey the voice of Jehovah your Elohim, to guard to do all these commands which I am commanding you today. For Jehovah your Elohim shall bless you as he promised you, and you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And you shall rule over many nations, but they do not rule over you. When there is a poor man with you, one of your brothers, within any of the gates in your land, which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you, do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from your poor brother. For you shall certainly open your hand to him, and certainly lend him enough for his need, whatever he needs. Be on guard lest there be a thought of Belial in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release is near, and your eye is evil against your poor brother, and you give him not, and he shall cry out to Jehovah against you, and it shall be a sin in you. You shall certainly give him, and your heart should not be grieved when you give to him, because for this reason Jehovah your Elohim does bless you in all your work and in all to which you put your hand, because the poor one does not cease from the land. Therefore I am commanding you, saying, you shall certainly open your hand to your brother, to your poor and to your needy one in your land. When your brother is sold to you, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, and shall serve you 6 years, then let him go free from you in the 7th year. And when you send him away free from you, let him go away empty-handed. Let him not go away empty-handed. You shall richly supply him from your flock, and from your threshing floor, and from your winepress. With that which Jehovah has blessed you with, give to him. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Mizraim, and Jehovah your Elohim ransomed you. Therefore I am commanding you this word. And it shall be, when he says to you, I do not go away from you, because he loves you in your house, because it is good for him with you. Then you shall take an awl and thrust it through his ear to the door, and he shall be your servant forever. Do the same to your female servant. Let it not be hard in your eyes when you send him away free from you, for he has been worth a double hired servant in serving you 6 years. And Jehovah your Elohim shall bless you in all that you do. Set apart to Jehovah your Elohim all the firstborn males that come from your herd and your flock. Do not work with the firstborn of your herd, nor shear the firstborn of your flock. You and your household are to eat it before Jehovah your Elohim, year by year, in the place which Jehovah chooses. But when there is any defect in it, lame or blind, or any evil defect, do not slaughter it to Jehovah your Elohim. Eat it within your gates, the unclean and the clean alike, as the gazelle and as the deer. Only do not eat its blood, poured on the ground like water. Guard the new moon of Abib, and perform the Pesach to Jehovah your Elohim. For in the new moon of Abib, Jehovah your Elohim brought you out of Mizraim by night. And you shall slaughter the Pesach to Jehovah your Elohim from the flock and the herd in the place where Jehovah chooses to put his name. Eat no leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction, because you came out of the land of Mizraim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mizraim, all the days of your life. And no leaven should be seen with you in all your border for 7 days. Neither should any of the meat which you slaughter in the evening on the first day stay all night until morning. You are not allowed to slaughter the Pesach within any of your gates which Jehovah your Elohim gives you, but at the place where Jehovah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. There you slaughter the Pesach in the evening, at the going down of the sun, at the appointed time. You came out of Mizraim. And you shall roast and eat it in the place which Jehovah your Elohim chooses, and in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. 6 days you eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there is a closing festival to Jehovah your Elohim. You do not work. Count 7 weeks for yourself. Begin to count 7 weeks from the time you begin to put the sickle to the grain. And you shall perform the festival of Shavuot to Jehovah your Elohim, according to the voluntary offering from your hand, which you give as Jehovah your Elohim blesses you. And you shall rejoice before Jehovah your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite who is within your gates, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow who are in your midst, at the place where Jehovah your Elohim chooses to make his name dwell. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Mizraim, and you shall guard to do these laws. Perform the festival of Sukkot for 7 days after the ingathering from your threshing floor and from your winepress. And you shall rejoice in your festival, you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, and the Levite and the stranger, and the fatherless and the widow who are within your gates. For 7 days you shall celebrate to Jehovah your Elohim in the place which Jehovah chooses. Because Jehovah your Elohim does bless you in all your increase and in all the work of your hands, and you shall be only rejoicing. 3 times a year all your males appear before Jehovah your Elohim in the place which he chooses, at the festival of Matzah, and at the festival of Shavuot, and at the festival of Sukkot. And none should appear before Jehovah empty-handed, but each one with the gift of his hand, according to the blessing of Jehovah your Elohim, which he has given you. Appoint judges and officers within all your gates, which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you, according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous right ruling. Do not distort right ruling. Do not show partiality, nor take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. Follow righteousness, righteousness alone, so that you live and inherit the land which Jehovah your Elohim is giving you. Do not plant for yourself any tree as an Asherah near the slaughter place of Jehovah your Elohim that you make for yourself, and do not set up pillar which Jehovah your Elohim hates.